Hey Laura, thank you first of all for letting me do my video blog again. So I decided that I'd rather just talk about it here instead of making another one or typing about it. So last week's reading was actually very interesting because what Eva and Franco were talking about kind of reminded me of what Glenn was talking about during class that week. He again made us aware about the importance of copyright and how it relates to us, and it's really something to think about whether we want to allow someone to use our work or not. But I don't necessarily agree with the title of this reading, which was "Copies Are More Important Than Their Original." Again, I don't necessarily agree with that. You can enhance a work by making changes to it, but in my personal opinion, I do not believe that the copy is more important than the original, because if there wasn't an original, then there would have never been a copy. And obviously, if someone's trying to do something to your work, I mean, they must have thought something about it in order for them to do that. So that was quite interesting about them. Also, one of the things that I kind of realized as I was reading is that the media thought of them as like, well, they use the term hacktivism, but they don't really do that, or at least they are not using their work for the purpose of any political advancement, to say the least. They kind of like changing things, just to give a different perspective, to kind of open up the eyes to different people. And so one of the things that I did notice with them is that they kind of talked about how they left it up to the audience, or to the reader, to the viewer, they left it up to them to kind of find a way to look at art. And it reminded me of what we're doing in our virtual installation. Like, we wanted to make it interactive and leave it up to each individual on how they wanted to react, or what do they want to do. Do they want to just like stare at our pictures? Do they want to click on them? Do they want to change it? So it did remind me a lot of what we've been doing, or what we did last week, and what we are still doing. Very interesting. They did make some strong points about that, and I do agree with that yeah, someone can make a painting, but it's up to the other person to decide what to do with that painting. What if they do actually want to change it and do something even more cool with your work? Or what if they just want to hang it on the wall? Like, that's up to each individual. That's pretty cool that they were able to talk about that and make us think about it, because really I never thought about that. And then in this week's reading about this Luther Blissett thing, I don't want to say it's various persons, but to me it seemed more like if it was a movement of some sort, because they kind of tried portraying different things. Well, not portraying different things, but doing different things with the media, playing around with them, doing all these different kinds of pranks, kind of involving like different artistic things, or even spelling out the word art, I believe. Again, that also reminded me of our flash mobs, and how we kind of took ordinary things and kind of changed them and had more fun with them. But one thing that I did notice towards the end is that quote by Cary Grant, which says that it is better to leave a minute earlier, leaving people wanting more rather than a minute too late when people are getting bored. And I guess in a way that's kind of true, because I mean, yeah, people, I mean, especially nowadays, everyone gets bored of things so fast. So I guess in this case, it was good that they did it at that time, because after that, you know, the trend was gonna fade off and people weren't gonna care. So it was kind of good that they did it. I don't necessarily think that it should be like that all the time. If something's good, there shouldn't be a reason for it to ever get boring or anything like that. But it's really something to think about, whether we want to appreciate things and how do we want to appreciate them. And pretty much as far as our project, we have a pretty steady plan. It's just really about building it, which we started with our sketches. You'll see them in my blog, but they're right here. You can't really see them. But yeah, we have a pretty solid plan about what we want to do. We definitely want to have some fun with it and pretty much do what Desdemona and Douglas do. They create those cool installations. It's definitely going to take some time, but we are more than up for it. We are trying our best to make it as closely as possible to them. We definitely don't want to reflect their work and use their nature inspiration, make it very organic and whatnot. Use a lot of flower images, a lot of landscape, and make it very interactive, not something usual that you'll just see in a regular museum. No, it's definitely gonna be something more fun. So you will hear more from us the next week. Bye.